You need to stop caring about views, engagement, and followers as the primary markers of your content success. And I know that might be hard for some people to hear because they want hard data to influence their decisions. But there are tons of coaches, content creators, and influencers out there with buzzing brands and tons of engagement, but they can't get people to pay them what they actually want. And after working in content marketing and social media for just over 6 years now, I've seen this firsthand. I've made over 7 figures myself in my time in the industry. I built an agency to $650K total revenue in Canadian dollars with just 3,000 followers in 2.5 years. And I've made my clients over 7 figures in total revenue as well with the methods I'm about to teach you in this video. And even after I shut down my agency to go on my own, my content has continued to open doors for me. I've had 2 7-figure brands ask me to move across the world to lead their marketing strategies. One of them was in Spain, one of them was in Dallas. I've started generating leads on an offer that hasn't yet dropped as of the day of this recording. Depending on when I release this, it might already have been dropped. And interestingly enough, one of the people who has reached out didn't follow me at all, just saw my content come up on his page, was a guy who sold 9 businesses, and 3 of them were acquired by Warren Buffett's company, or former company, Berkshire Hathaway. I believe Warren Buffett is retired now, so I think former is the right way to say that. And the reason I'm able to do this is because I'm solely focused on the quality of viewers my content attracts. That's it. Not the amount of views, not how much reach it gets, and not how many people have seen my profile. In this video, I'm going to teach you 3 actionable tips that you can take in order to attract higher quality viewers and both get them interested in what you do. Before I lay out my 3 tips for you though, I really want you to think about attracting higher quality viewers like this. I hear so many people talk about how the dating market is terrible and it's never been harder to date properly. And yet, when I look around, I see people that don't respect themselves, don't have good boundaries, and aren't really willing to do the inner work to figure out who they are, what they want, and then have the courage to go for that regardless of what they think is out there. Because yes, while there are lots of people out there in the dating pool, if you really looked at what it is you were trying to build, held firm on those standards and boundaries, and actually went out looking for that without being willing to compromise on your deal breakers, you would find that 90% of that dating market is completely irrelevant to you. And the best part about this is that even though you eliminate a massive chunk of the market, there's still an abundance of people out there who are looking for what you're also looking for. This is exactly how I found my wife. If you go out with somebody and they disrespect you or treat you in a way that you don't like, and you don't entertain that behavior, it becomes much easier to stop finding people who act in that manner. If you view yourself as lovable, worthy of an amazing relationship, and have an optimistic, detached outlook on things, you will find it's actually much easier to attract people who want the same things as you and think the same way as you do. No matter what all the negative Nellies and detractors on social media tell you either. The only problem is there are a lot of people who are attached to the idea of needing validation from others. They're not willing to stand firm in their boundaries and desires, and they aren't capable of giving themselves what they really need because they don't really know what they need. So it's no wonder that they can't find somebody who aligns with what they're really looking for. As I got older, I found it was much easier to find what I was looking for romantically. And at the filming of this video, I'm 27 years old. When I started tending to my emotional needs, treated myself with respect, and stopped entertaining flaky behavior, my entire dating life changed. When I met my wife, I had been doing the inner work for quite some time, at least 1.5 years, almost 2 years. And when we met, I wasn't looking actively for anything, but I also was not closed off to the idea. We clicked immediately, have been best friends since, and marrying her was the easiest yes I could possibly think of. My marriage to me has become such a green flag and beacon of hope in every aspect of my life, because if I'm capable of attracting a woman as incredible and amazing as my wife, I can do so much more in every other aspect of my life. It happened because I was willing to do the emotional inner work and, most importantly, get clarity on who I am, what I'm looking for, and what I'm not willing to compromise on. So I say all of this to you because content and marketing works the exact same way. There is a massive amount of people to market and sell to. But when you get super clear on who you're looking for, what they're going through, and what it takes to attract those kinds of people, the game gets so much easier. And even though you eliminated a large percentage of the market, there's still an overflow and abundance of people out there who could use your work and your skills. Being clear in what you're looking for puts out a frequency that attracts people that are on the same wavelength. The rest of this video will teach you how to do that. So this might seem obvious, but tip number one to attracting higher quality viewers is to get super clear on who you're trying to attract and understand what they're interested in. Now, this does not mean sell out and talk about things you hate in order to make money, because oftentimes what you love talking about and the people you're trying to genuinely attract that align with who you are interested in very similar topics, if not the same thing. For example, when I shut down my marketing agency and didn't have another offer that I was selling, I had one goal in mind. I wanted to attract like-minded people who were interested in similar things as myself: marketing, content, spirituality, inner work, psychology, etc. So that's exactly what I did with my content, and it worked. So that's what you need to do as well. Caleb Ralston has this awesome 4-question framework for understanding how to start building your personal brand. And it starts with question number 1. What is the end goal of actually posting content online? What are you trying to do with this personal brand? For myself, it was attracting like-minded people. That was it. I didn't have an offer, so I couldn't say build my offer or build my business because I didn't have one. Question number 2 is, what do you need to be known for in order to achieve that goal? Once you get super clear on who you're trying to attract, what outcome you have in mind, figure out the topics of what you should be talking about and what purpose they should be serving in order to get people closer to that goal. If it's trying to find leads, then you need to talk in a way that gets people closer to buying. If it's just trying to generate reach, then you can go for more surface level topics that apply to a broader scale of people. The third question he asks is, what do you need to do in order to be known for the things that get you closer to your goal? Now you're figuring out how to execute on this strategy. The fourth question he asks is, what do you need to learn in order to do the things that make you known for the things that get you closer to the goal? So you start with the end in mind, then work your way backwards slowly, and that's what makes an effective personal brand. This is what you need to do. Figure out who you're talking to, what they're interested in, what you're interested in, and blend those things together. The next thing I want you to do is to lead with polarizing takes you have on this subject. Things you genuinely believe in and are contrary to what most people in the industry are saying. Take a look at all the bigwigs in your niche. Take a look at what everybody's talking about and how they're telling people to get to their desired results. What do you genuinely look at and go, that's stupid, I don't believe that? Talk about those things. Because one of the best things you can do to stand out in any market is to zig when everybody else is zagging. And if you go along with the crowd in hopes of making money, you're not going to stick out and actually attract the people who have the same strong beliefs as you. Now, if you see multiple people talk about the thing that you're interested in saying already, don't just blindly copy what they're saying and parrot their words exactly. Try to find a unique spin on that take that makes it more tailored to you and your beliefs. So for example, when I hear people go on Team Human in the AI debate and they say you need to be more authentic and human, I think that's great advice, but I try to take it one step further in order to make it sound more like me. The actionable advice people get when they hear the just be human argument is to just take their phone out and start talking because that's authentic and that's human and that's real and that's raw. And while I don't 100% disagree with that, that's what everybody says, for one. And two, I think it's a bit two-dimensional and flat in order to get people to understand how to be more magnetic as a human being. So what I tell people to do is to do the inner work necessary to figure out who you are and what your goals are, and then craft unique solutions to the big problems they have. The second part is so much easier when you do the first part, and I find that's so much more actionable and not as cloned as the advice of just take your phone out and talk to everybody as you are, as a natural, authentic, raw human being. This advice that I'm giving is specific to me, unique to my process, and I don't see a lot of people talking about it. Everybody's saying be human and just talk to your camera. I'm saying find out who you are, figure out unique solutions to your audience's problems, and then connect emotionally with your audience to activate them based on that unique essence and soul you've been cultivating and figuring out more about. This is a great way to create top of funnel content that attracts like-minded people because it speaks their language and it's enough for them to go, wow, I want more. But it's not the whole process. It's not everything you need to know in order to attract those higher quality viewers. The deeper topics where you go more in detail on the middle of funnel, well, that's next. Tip number 2, know their pain very intimately, from surface level to deep levels of pain. Effective middle of funnel content or effective relationship building with your content is all about shifting the way they see the world. Take their viewpoints, show them why they're wrong, and show them a new way of thinking and being. That's how you show up as the natural solution to their problems. And in order to break the right beliefs, you need to know their pain very intimately. Now, before we go any further, knowing their pain is not about fear-mongering or trying to manipulate them or using negative marketing tactics to try to shame them or make them feel bad and get them to sign up for your program. It's about seeing somebody in the situation they're truly in. If your friend told you, my arm hurts, and it's very clear their arm is broken, you wouldn't say, that's okay, King. Do you, man. Be authentic. I'm trying to call you to a higher version of yourself based on your truth. You'd be like, lift your arm. And they would be like, ow. And you'd be like, let's go to the hospital. That's knowing their pain levels. You're understanding where they're at so they feel seen and you can show them a better path to get to where they really want to go. There are 3 levels to pain. The first is a nice to have. The pain's kind of annoying, but they can keep going on with it and either ignore it or lie to themselves about how serious it really is. This is what most fitness coaches try to do. Try my 60-day gym challenge. I'll make you a custom workout plan and a custom meal plan. It's surface level. It makes people go, oh, cool, and look at it and kind of get interested, but they're not really motivated enough to act and they just keep walking along their merry way. Also, most marketers write at this level, which is why the market will never be too saturated, by the way. The second level of pain is something that keeps them up at night. They think about it, it makes a big difference, but they're not at their wits' end yet. Now, the second level of pain might be enough to make a certain amount of people buy or pay attention. For some other people, they might continue to lie to themselves. So it's one step deeper, but you can go further. For the fitness example, this could be not being able to run a mile without stopping. It could be not being able to do any push-ups. It could be getting winded after going up a flight of stairs. These things might be embarrassing to your avatar, but for some people they can go, oh, it's not that big of a deal. There are a lot of people who are out of shape, right? And to other people, they might go, wow, I really need to get it together. Then we hit level 3, bleeding neck problems. It's called this because, well, if your neck was bleeding, you'd probably go to the hospital or try to fix it ASAP. So we need to go even deeper to hit that potent white nerve. For the fitness offers that I was helping grow, one of the main ones was targeting white collar executive workers who sit in an office all day. They're married, they have a family, and they have way more fat than they want on their body. The deepest levels of pain for them included not wanting to make eye contact with the mirror when they walked by it because they knew they hated how they looked. Hanging out at the back of family photos because they didn't want anybody to see how big they were. Wearing shirts at the beach even when they go into the water because they didn't want anybody to see them shirtless. Their wife not accepting their intimate advances as much because she's not attracted to them as much. Their kids wanting to play with them and them wanting to play with their kids, but they say no because they know they'll be winded in 5 to 10 minutes. That's the level of pain you want to be able to go to with your clients, because each level of pain is helpful depending on who you're talking to. If somebody goes, I know I need a workout plan, I know I need a meal plan, I have my credit card ready for you right now. Tell me you do that and I will pay. You don't need to be like, how embarrassed are you of your man boobs when you walk by the mirror? No, you don't have to do that. You just be like, yes, I do those things. But if you're talking to people who are newer to you and they're interested in what you have to say because of the work you did in tip number 1 on how to attract higher quality viewers, then you can start going deeper with them and this will help shift their perspective in a real powerful way. What hits their identity? What makes them feel like they need to change right now? What is their crisis moment? And when you hit that, you'll know when you talk to people. They will let you know. They'll be very engaged when you talk with them, whether it's in the DMs, on a sales call. They'll tell you what you're making is exactly for them. And they'll say things like, that's exactly the conversation I had with myself in my mind. This is exactly what I'm thinking. Like, you get me so well. I feel very seen in your content. Remember, lead with compassion. You're not telling them, you're a fat bitch and nobody's gonna love you, you fat bitch. Look at your man boobs, bitch. What you're telling them is, hey, I see that you want to be a better father for your kids. I see that you want to be there for them, but in your current situation, you can't be given your physical shape. I'm here to help you get to the version of yourself that you know you can be at and that your kids will love to run around in the yard with every day. Very key difference. Finally, tip number 3, build real connection with them through radical honesty. This tip can be boiled down to this one sentence. Know when to position yourself as an authority and know when to position yourself as a student. This is how you come across as somebody who can both lead people and a real human being. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. We've worked together in the past. We've known each other for a long time. We have a very good relationship. And I was telling her about some of the insecurities I've gone through when launching my current offer. And she told me, wow, that feels really relieving to know, because I was wondering if I was the only one who was having a difficult time figuring out how to go about launching this thing, how to go about finding clients for this thing. And this is somebody who's done much better than me financially. This is somebody who's built businesses far beyond what I've built my own. But when you know how to attract higher quality viewers, when you know how to position yourself correctly, when you know how to connect with them on a deep level and understand what they're going through, and then show them you're a real human being by being honest about where you're at with the things you know really well and the things you don't, that's what makes a really powerful connection. So for example, with my content and my offer doc, in any marketing assets that I use, I always lead with the direct experience I've had or seen. What do my clients go through? Did they experience this? How did I handle this when I came into contact with this issue or situation? If I've gone through it directly, I can speak confidently on it. This is what makes me an authority. But if I'm new to something, like building a front-facing coaching offer for the first time, which is what I'm doing now, I will be honest about that too. So if you've gone through something difficult personally and you feel comfortable sharing it, obviously don't not process it and just rush to tell the internet without having any awareness about the situation. Then tell people about what you went through. Some of my most magnetic pieces of content are things that were not easy to share or I feel vulnerable talking about. But because I had the courage to show up honestly and tell people about my experience, they really connected with it on a deep level. Some examples included when I was ready to quit my job and jump into the unknown, and then them laying off my entire department anyways. Building my new offer in public and talking about why I'm driven to do this, and talking about being recently married and some of the things I felt vulnerable about in my marriage that I felt comfortable sharing with people. It's often the things we're afraid to talk about that draw people in the closest. But anyways, that's today's video. If you want to go even deeper on this topic and learn how to attract high quality clients who are willing to stay with you and grow with you for long periods of time and pay you upwards of $20,000, $30,000+ in their lifetime value, I have another video that talks exactly about that. You just got to click it. It's somewhere on this screen. I'll see you there in that next video. Peace.